1973 Liberty Quarter Dollar is one of those coins that quietly hides in plain sight, resting in old drawers, forgotten jars, and inherited collections, yet carrying a story far bigger than its face value. To the untrained eye, it looks ordinary, but to a sharp collector, this coin represents mystery, survival, and the possibility that history made a rare mistake. Coins like this don't announce their value loudly. They whisper to those who know what to listen for. That whisper is what has driven collectors into lifelong searches and turned simple quarters into legends. What makes the 1973 Liberty Quarter so fascinating is not mass production, but the rare exceptions buried among millions. While most 1973 quarters were struck in standard metal, a tiny number are known for unusual characteristics, unexpected finishes, striking errors, and extraordinary preservation. These rare examples are the reason people talk about unbelievable prices. In the coin world, value is born where imperfection meets scarcity, and 1973 is a year where the unexpected occasionally appeared. The Philadelphia Mint mark P adds another layer of intrigue. Coins from this mint were produced in enormous numbers, which makes any deviation instantly valuable. When a 1973 P quarter appears with an off-center strike, double details, unusually sharp impressions, or a flawless surface untouched by circulation, it becomes something entirely different from loose change. It becomes a survivor, one that escaped damage, neglect, and time itself. Some collectors are especially drawn to coins that appear silver-like in color or weight, sparking rumors and excitement. While not all such coins are truly silver, appearances alone have caused intense bidding wars when unusual metal behavior or mint anomalies are confirmed. In rare cases, laboratory testing has elevated coins from curiosity to headline material, pushing values far beyond what anyone would expect from a quarter dated 1973. Condition is where fortunes are truly made. A 1973 Liberty Quarter preserved in near-perfect or perfect condition is like a time capsule. No scratches, no dullness, no loss of detail, only crisp lines and original brilliance. Coins like this are incredibly rare because quarters were meant to be spent, not protected. When one survives untouched, collectors compete fiercely, sometimes driving prices into ranges that shock outsiders. Then there are error coins, the heartbeat of extreme value. Misaligned dies, missing layers, doubled imagery, or unusual planchets can transform a common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. These errors are accidental, unpredictable, and impossible to recreate, which is exactly why collectors pay extraordinary sums for them. One confirmed error can instantly place a 1973 Liberty Quarter into elite territory. Stories circulate in the coin world of people unknowingly spending rare quarters, unaware they held something special. That is why experienced collectors always warn. Never rush to sell, never clean a coin, and never assume its value without expert evaluation. Cleaning alone can destroy decades of potential worth. Patience, knowledge, and verification are what separate regret from reward. The idea that a single coin could change someone's fortune overnight isn't fantasy. It has happened before in numismatics. While not every 1973 Liberty Quarter is valuable, the rare few that meet all the right conditions have rewritten personal histories. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary can be smaller than a millimeter in a strike or a fraction of a gram in weight. True collectors understand that value is not just money, it's story, rarity, and trust. When a coin is authenticated, graded, and proven exceptional, its worth becomes real and respected. That is when collectors, investors, and museums all take notice. At that point, the coin no longer belongs to pocket change. It belongs to history. So if you ever come across a 1973 Liberty Quarter, don't dismiss it too quickly. Look closely, handle it carefully, and respect its potential. Most coins are ordinary, but legends are born from exceptions. And in the quiet world of rare coins, sometimes a small piece of metal really does have the power to change a life. Overnight, if you want. I can rewrite this to sound even more cinematic, shorten for YouTube, or add a strong opening hook and ending CTA for viral videos. The year 1965 stands like a thunderclap in American coin history, a moment when the United States quietly changed the soul of its money. To many people, a 1965 Liberty Quarter looks ordinary, something that could hide in a pocket or rest forgotten in a drawer. Yet behind that simple face is a powerful story of transition, secrecy, and rare possibility that continues to fuel dreams, rumors, and collector fascination even today. By 1965, America was moving away from silver coins forever. Rising silver prices forced the U.S. Mint to remove silver from circulating quarters, replacing it with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This single decision created a sharp dividing line in history. Quarters before 1965 carried real silver weight, while those after were meant to carry only face value. That is why 1965 is whispered about so intensely. It sits exactly on the edge of two worlds. Now comes the mystery that makes hearts race. Although standard 1965 quarters were not silver, a tiny number of extraordinary pieces may exist that break all the rules. During this chaotic transition year, experimental strikes, wrong metal planchets, and minting accidents were possible. A 1965 Liberty quarter accidentally struck on a leftover silver planchet would instantly become one of the most legendary modern U.S. coins ever known. Such a coin would not be valuable because of magic or myths, but because it should never exist. Its power would come from contradiction. History saying no, while metal says yes. If authenticated, such a mistake would represent a once-in-a-generation error, the kind that museums fight over and elite collectors chase with blank checks. This is where value stopped being counted in thousands and began entering territory that changes lives. The mint mark itself adds another layer of intrigue. In 1965, mint marks were temporarily removed to discourage hoarding. That means no P or D appears on normal coins, making authentication even more dramatic. If a silver composition 1965 quarter surfaced, it would not scream its identity. It would whisper it, forcing experts to rely on weight, sound, edge color, and deep metallurgical testing to reveal the truth. But this is also where caution must speak louder than excitement. The vast majority of 1965 Liberty quarters are worth face value only. Millions exist, and no amount of hope can turn a common-clad coin into a treasure. The true danger is not spending a rare coin too cheaply. It is believing every dramatic story without proof and falling into fantasy instead of knowledge. What truly gives a coin the power to change fortune overnight is not the year alone, but verified rarity. A genuine silver-era 1965 quarter, certified by top grading authorities, would be a historical anomaly. Its value would be determined not by rumors or social media claims, but by auction rooms filled with silence, raised paddles, and numbers that climb higher with every breath. Collectors who understand this know one rule above all others: never rush, never assume, and never sell without certainty. Weighing the coin, testing its metal content, and seeking professional authentication are the difference between truth and illusion. A real discovery would rewrite modern numismatic records. A false one would simply return to a cash register. The fascination with the 1965 Liberty quarter continues because it represents hope wrapped in history. It reminds people that sometimes mistakes do happen, that rules are occasionally broken, and that ordinary objects can carry extraordinary stories. But those stories demand respect, patience, and knowledge, not blind belief. In the end, the real fortune hidden in the 1965 Liberty quarter is understanding. Understanding how money evolved, how rarity is born, and how legends begin. If a true silver era ever appears, it will not need exaggeration or loud promises. Its authenticity alone will speak so loudly that the entire numismatic world will stop and listen. The 1976 Liberty quarter dollar, especially the one whispered about with AP mint mark, lives more in legend than in loose change. And that is exactly what makes its story so powerful. This coin was born in a year charged with emotion, pride, and celebration, when America marked 200 years of independence. Every quarter struck that year carried the weight of history, but collectors and dreamers believe that a very small number escaped the ordinary path and entered the realm of mystery. These coins are not just metal. They are time capsules, holding the echo of a nation celebrating its survival and strength, and that alone makes people look at them with different eyes and beating hearts. What fuels the imagination is the idea that among millions of bicentennial quarters, a few were struck under unusual conditions, with extraordinary perfection, experimental metal blends, or silent minting irregularities that were never meant for public hands. The story goes that some 1976 quarters, especially those associated in rumor with the Philadelphia Mint, possess qualities so rare that their true value cannot be measured by face value or even thousands of dollars. Instead, they are spoken of in terms usually reserved for legendary art, lost treasures, or heirlooms that rewrite family histories overnight. The shine of this coin is often described as different, deeper, almost alive, as if the silver within it remembers the moment it was born. While most people know the bicentennial quarter for its colonial drummer design, believers in this legend say the truly valuable piece carries a presence you can feel before you even understand why. The edges, the strike, the balance of the coin in your palm all seem to whisper that it is not ordinary. This is a kind of detail that turns a casual finder into a lifelong guardian of a single small object. The phrase unimaginable worth is not used lightly in stories about this coin. In collector folklore, value is not just about metal or condition, but about rarity combined with secrecy. A coin known to everyone can be priced, cataloged, and sold. A coin surrounded by silence, uncertainty, and unanswered questions grows in power. That is why people say if you ever come across such a 1976 Liberty Quarter, you should never rush to sell it. Never trust the first offer, and never underestimate what time and patience can do. There's also the idea that true fortune-changing coins never announce themselves loudly. They hide in drawers, old jars, inherited boxes, and forgotten collections, waiting for the right moment and the right eyes. Many legends claim that those who dismissed unusual quarters too quickly later realized they had let go of something that could have transformed their lives. This is why the 1976 Liberty Quarter is often described as a silent king among modern coins, small in size but enormous in potential. What makes this story even more gripping is the belief that the market has not yet fully awakened to every secret of this coin. In this telling, value is not fixed, it is sleeping. One major discovery, one revelation, one respected voice acknowledging a unique specimen could ignite demand overnight. When that happens, the difference between spending a coin and holding it could mean the difference between an ordinary life and a life rewritten by sudden wealth. Collectors who believe in the extraordinary power of this coin often speak about destiny. They say not everyone is meant to find such a piece, and not everyone who finds it is meant to understand it immediately. Sometimes the coin comes into your life as a test of patience, self-belief, and courage to hold on when others laugh or doubt. That emotional layer is what turns metal into myth and currency into legacy. The idea of becoming wealthy overnight is part of the magic, but the deeper message of the 1976 Liberty Quarter legend is about awareness. It teaches that value is not always obvious, that history hides in plain sight, and that what the world ignores today may be celebrated tomorrow. This belief keeps people searching their pockets, examining their change, and looking twice at what they once took for granted. In the end, the most powerful thing about this coin is not whether it truly reaches millions in today's market, but the way it captures imagination and hope. It represents a dream that something small can carry something enormous, that fortune does not always arrive with noise, and that sometimes destiny fits quietly in the palm of your hand. To those who believe, the 1976 Liberty Quarter is not just money, it is possibility waiting to be respected. So if you ever come across a 1976 Liberty Quarter that feels different, looks different, and refuses to be forgotten, the legend says one thing clearly: do not rush, do not underestimate, and do not trade destiny for quick cash. Some coins are meant to be spent, but others are meant to be held, studied, protected, and passed on until the day the world finally realizes what you were holding all along. The 1967 Liberty Quarter from the United States is often whispered about in collector circles as a coin born in silence, struck during a strange moment in American history when change was everywhere but certainty was nowhere. There is no mint mark on this coin, and that absence alone has fueled decades of speculation, mystery, and fascination. Some believe the missing mark is not an accident, but a deliberate decision, turning the coin into a quiet rebel of its time, a piece that refused to announce where it came from, as if it wanted to choose its own destiny. What makes the 1967 Liberty Quarter so captivating is not just its design, but the era it represents. This coin emerged when America was reshaping itself, when metals, money, and meaning were all being reconsidered. In stories passed from one collector to another, this quarter is described as a survivor transition, carrying the weight of a nation moving away from old traditions and into a new financial age. That sense of transition gives a coin an almost emotional gravity, as if it absorbed the uncertainty of its birth year. In legendary narratives, some versions of the 1967 Liberty Quarter are said to have been struck with extraordinary precision, their surfaces unusually sharp, their details unusually alive. Liberty's expression appears stronger, Washington's profile more commanding, the eagle more defiant. These coins are described as anomalies, pieces that feel different the moment they touch your palm, heavier in presence if not in weight, as though they were meant to stand apart from the millions that look just like them. Collectors who speak in hushed tones claim that a perfect 1967 Liberty Quarter is not merely owned, but discovered. It does not reveal its importance easily. It hides in drawers, jars, old envelopes, waiting for the moment when someone looks closely enough. In these stories, the coin rewards patience, knowledge, and respect. Those who rush to sell, who see only face value, are said to lose the opportunity forever, while those who wait are believed to unlock a different future. The myth grows stronger when people talk about condition. In this narrative world, a flawless 1967 Liberty Quarter exists almost outside normal economics. It is imagined as a coin untouched by time, never cleaned, never damaged, never disrespected. Such a piece, according to legend, does not follow ordinary price charts. Its worth is spoken of in exaggerated, almost unbelievable terms, not because of metal alone, but because perfection itself is rare and rarity feeds desire. There is also a belief that certain 1967 quarters carry subtle variations, details so small that only the most devoted eyes can see them. A slightly shifted design, an unusually strong strike, a surface that reflects light differently. These details are said to separate ordinary coins from extraordinary ones. In storytelling culture, these tiny differences are what transform a common object into something powerful enough to change a life overnight. Many dramatic coin stories describe the 1967 Liberty Quarter as a test of knowledge, of patience, of belief. Those who dismiss it too quickly are said to miss their moment, while those who study, protect, and preserve it are portrayed as guardians of hidden value. The coin becomes a symbol not just of money, but of timing, reminding people that fortune often comes quietly, disguised as something ordinary. In these narratives, the idea of becoming wealthy overnight is not about greed, but about readiness. The 1967 Liberty Quarter does not make someone rich simply by existing. It rewards a person who understands its story, respects its condition, and waits for the right moment. The coin is portrayed as having power only when matched with wisdom, turning it into a metaphor as much as a collectible. The most gripping legends say that somewhere right now, a perfect 1967 Liberty Quarter rests unnoticed, its future still unwritten. It could be in a family collection, a forgotten box, or a pocket passed down through generations. Its journey is unfinished, and its value, in this mythic sense, is not measured in numbers, but in the transformation it promises to the one who recognizes it. In the end, the story of the 1967 Liberty Quarter is not just about money, metal, or markets. It is about perspective. It teaches that even the smallest object can carry enormous meaning, that history can hide in plain sight, and that sometimes what looks ordinary today may hold the power to redefine tomorrow. That belief is what keeps the legend alive, growing stronger every time the coin changes hands. 2000 Sacagawea $1 coin is not just a piece of metal to collectors who truly understand its story. It is a modern legend wrapped in golden color and mystery. When this coin was first released, most people saw it as ordinary pocket change, something to be spent without a second thought. But hidden among millions were a few extraordinary examples that turned this simple dollar into a symbol of overnight destiny. The Sacagawea dollar represents exploration, courage, and survival, and for some collectors, it represents something even greater. The possibility that fortune can quietly sit in your hand without you ever realizing it. What makes the 2000 Sacagawea coin from the Philadelphia Mint so powerful is not just its age, but the rare and unusual versions that slip through the system. In the world of coin collecting, perfection and mistakes are equally valuable, and this coin carries both legends. Some pieces were struck with extraordinary sharpness, mirror-like surfaces, and flawless details that make them stand out instantly to trained eyes. Others are surrounded by stories of rare planchets, unusual finishes, and experimental strikes that were never meant for public circulation. These are the coins that ignite excitement, raise heartbeats, and spark bidding wars when they surface. Collectors whisper about these coins because they were born at a turning point in U.S. coinage history. The Sacagawea dollar was meant to revive the use of the dollar coin, and during its early production, intense experimentation took place. When experimentation meets mass production, magic sometimes happens. A few coins emerge different, heavier in presence, richer in texture, and visually unmatched. These rare survivors are the reason why some Sacagawea dollars are no longer valued as currency, but as artifacts capable of commanding astonishing prices. The phrase unimaginable worth is not exaggeration in the collector world. It is reality driven by demand, rarity, and condition. A Sacagawea coin preserved in untouched, flawless condition is like time frozen in metal. When paired with an unusual strike or mysterious origin, its value multiplies dramatically. Serious collectors are not buying metal. They are buying stories, moments, and history captured forever. That is why a single coin, once ignored, can rise to a level where its price feels unreal to the average person. What truly separates life-changing coins from ordinary ones is knowledge. Many people unknowingly sell rare coins for a fraction of their potential because they do not understand what they possess. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar teaches a powerful lesson. Never rush, never assume, and never underestimate a coin just because it looks familiar. In the hands of an informed collector, this coin becomes a key, one that can unlock doors to financial freedom, recognition, and legacy. There's also an emotional power attached to this coin that few others carry. Sacagawea herself symbolizes guidance and transformation, and it feels almost poetic that a coin-bearer image can transform lives. Stories circulated collectors who discovered a rare example by chance, held on to it patiently, and later watched its value explode beyond imagination. These stories are not about luck alone. They are about vision, patience, and respect for history. In today's market, where rare coins are seen as alternative wealth, the finest Sacagawea dollars are treated like treasures. Wealthy collectors and investors compete not just with money, but with passion. When two people both believe a coin completes their collection, price becomes secondary. This is how values reach heights that shock outsiders. A single verified, exceptional Sacagawea dollar can command attention that most assets never will. If you ever hold a 2000 Sacagawea dollar, especially one from the Philadelphia Mint, pause before you act. Look closely at its surface, its strike, its feel. Coins like this are silent. They do not announce their importance. They wait for the right person to recognize them. Selling such a coin cheaply is not just a financial loss. It is a loss of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that may never return. The power of this coin lies in its contrast, humble appearance, extraordinary potential. That is what makes it dangerous to the uninformed and priceless to the wise. Many fortunes are not built through noise and attention, but through quiet discoveries that others overlook. The Sacagawea dollar stands as proof that greatness can hide in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. In the end, the 2000 Sacagawea $1 coin is more than currency. It is a reminder that history, rarity, and patience can turn a single dollar into a symbol of unimaginable wealth. If you have one, protect it, study it, and respect it. Because sometimes destiny doesn't knock loudly. It jingles softly in your pocket, waiting for the moment you finally understand its true power. The Sacagawea $1 coin from 2001, especially with the P Mint mark, has become one of the most talked about modern American coins. Not because every example is priceless, but because a very small number carries stories, mysteries, and rare characteristics that have electrified collectors across the world. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary golden-colored dollar, yet hidden within certain pieces is a combination of history, minting experimentation, and collective desire that has turned this coin into a legend whispered about in auctions and private collections. What makes the 2001 P Sacagawea dollar so fascinating is the era in which it was produced. The U.S. Mint was still experimenting with alloys, strikes, and production techniques for the Sacagawea series. While the coin is not silver in composition, Some pieces exhibit extraordinary surface qualities, off-metal appearances, or experimental planchet traits that confuse even seasoned collectors. These unusual examples are the ones that spark headlines and rumors of values reaching staggering heights. Among elite collectors, the true power of this coin lies in mint errors and transitional anomalies. Coins struck with improper metal mixtures, unusual weight, double details, or ultra-sharp specimen-like finishes can command prices that defy logic. When a 2001 Sacagawea dollar escapes the mint with something that should never have happened, it stops being a coin and becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. In the world of numismatics, uniqueness is where fortunes are born. Another factor that fuels imagination is condition. A flawless 2001 Sacagawea dollar with blazing luster, perfect rims, and untouched surfaces can feel almost unreal in hand. Coins that survive without scratches, contact marks, or dulling are incredibly scarce, and when paired with a rare striking trait, their value multiplies dramatically. Collectors don't just buy metal, they buy perfection frozen in time. Stories circulated collectors who unknowingly held these coins for years, spending them like ordinary dollars, never realizing what they had. That idea, that life-changing value could be hiding in plain sight, is what makes the Sacagawea dollar so emotionally powerful. It represents the dream that history, luck, and patience can collide in the palm of your hand, transforming something common into something extraordinary overnight. The 2001 P issue also carries symbolic weight. Sacagawea herself represents guidance, survival, and unseen strength. Many collectors feel the symbolism mirrors the coin's journey. Quietly overlooked by the public, yet fiercely respected by those who truly understand it. This emotional connection adds another layer of demand that pure metal value could never explain. When a truly rare example appears on the market, competition becomes fierce. Private buyers, registry collectors, and high-end investors step in, driving prices into territory that sounds unbelievable to outsiders. These sales don't happen every day, and they rarely happen publicly, which only deepens the myth and mystique surrounding the coin's potential worth. It is important to understand that not every 2001 Sacagawea dollar is worth millions, but some are worth far more than anyone would expect from a modern coin. The difference between face value and life-changing value can come down to microscopic details only experts know how to spot. That is why collectors warn: never rush to sell, never clean the coin, and never assume you know its worth without professional evaluation. The greatest danger is impatience. Coins like these punish haste and reward wisdom. A quick sale for a small profit could mean losing out on something far greater. In the collector world, legends are made by those who wait, research, and protect what they own until the right moment arrives. In the end, the 2001 Sacagawea dollar is not just a coin. It is a reminder that modern history still holds secrets. Somewhere, perhaps in a drawer or a pocket, one of these rare examples may still exist, waiting to change a life forever. And that possibility alone is what keeps collectors searching, dreaming, and believing that fortune can arrive without warning, shining softly in gold. The story of a 1778 Sacagawea $1 coin sounds like a legend pulled straight from a treasure hunter's dream, and that is exactly how it should be understood, as a myth, not a historical reality. In 1778, the United States had no dollar coins, no federal mint system, and Sacagawea herself had not even been born yet. The power of this tale comes from how easily imagination can turn hope into belief, and belief into exaggeration. Many people hear such stories and assume hidden riches are waiting in their pocket change, but true knowledge is what really protects your fortune. Sacagawea was a real historical woman, a Lemhi Shoshone guide who later helped the Lewis and Clark expedition in the early 1800s. Her image was honored on the Sacagawea $1 coin introduced in the year 2000, more than 2 centuries after 1778. Because of this, any coin dated 1778 with Sacagawea on it cannot exist, no matter what stories surround it. Understanding this single fact instantly separates reality from illusion, and that awareness alone can save collectors from costly mistakes. Another powerful myth wrapped around these stories is the claim that the Sacagawea dollar is a silver coin. In truth, Sacagawea dollars were struck in a manganese brass-clad composition, not silver. Their golden color fuels confusion, making many believe they are made from precious metal. This misunderstanding has been used countless times to inflate values and create false urgency, pushing people to believe they hold a life-changing treasure when they actually hold a modern circulation coin. That said, the Sacagawea dollar is not worthless. Far from it. Certain rare minting varieties, experimental strikes, and special early releases have become genuinely valuable to serious collectors. These coins are prized not because of fantasy dates or impossible histories, but because of subtle design differences, unusual finishes, and extremely limited distribution. Their value comes from documented rarity, not dramatic promises of overnight billions. One of the reasons myths spread so quickly is because real high-value coins do exist, and people assume every coin with a familiar face might be one of them. In reality, coins worth huge sums are usually tied to errors, prototypes, or historically documented anomalies. They are studied, certified, and verified through careful examination. Wealth in numismatics is built on patience and proof, not excitement alone. The idea that a single coin can instantly make someone a billionaire overnight is emotionally powerful, but the real magic of coin collecting lies elsewhere. It lies in discovery, in learning history through metal, and in slowly building value through knowledge. True collectors know that when something sounds too unbelievable, it usually is. Coins that sell for millions are known, recorded, and fiercely guarded by museums and elite collections. If you ever encounter a claim about a 1778 Sacagawea dollar from a P-Mint, remember this clearly. The Philadelphia Mint did not strike Sacagawea coins in the 18th century, and no secret strike has ever surfaced. No verified example has ever appeared at auction, in private collections, or in government records. Silence from the historical record speaks louder than any viral story. That does not mean you should ignore Sacagawea dollars altogether. Some genuine pieces from the early 2000s can be worth hundreds or even thousands under the right conditions. Their value depends on preservation, rarity, and authentication. The difference between a valuable coin and a common one is often invisible to the untrained eye, which is why education matters more than hype. The real danger is not missing out on a mythical fortune, but selling or buying based on false belief. People lose money every year chasing legends instead of facts. A coin's power does not come from rumors. It comes from verified history, metal composition, mint records, and collector demand. Those are the forces that truly change fortunes over time. So treat the tale of the 1778 Sacagawea silver dollar, worth millions, as a warning, not a promise. Let it remind you to question boldly, learn deeply, and respect the truth behind the coin. In numismatics, knowledge is the real treasure, and unlike myths, it never disappears overnight. The story you are asking for sounds like a legend whispered in coin markets and late-night videos, but the truth behind it is far more powerful when it is told honestly. A Sacagawea $1 coin dated 1621 with a P-Mint mark is not a hidden billionaire's key. It is a historical impossibility. And that single fact is where the real, gripping story begins. In 1621, there was no United States of America, no U.S. Mint, no Philadelphia Mint mark, and no dollar coin system at all. Sacagawea herself would not even be born for another century. Any coin claiming this identity is not a lost treasure from the past, but modern fantasy created by misunderstanding, exaggeration, or deliberate hype. The real Sacagawea dollar belongs to the modern era, introduced to honor a Native American woman who guided explorers across an unknown continent. Its golden color makes many people believe it is silver or gold, but in reality it is a copper-based alloy designed to circulate easily, not a precious metal rarity. This misunderstanding is where myths grow fast, because when a coin looks different, people assume it must be worth millions. The market, however, does not reward imagination. It rewards verifiable rarity, documented errors, and confirmed history. Some stories claim that a single Sacagawea coin can change your fortune overnight, but fortune in numismatics is never magic. It is method. A common Sacagawea dollar, even in excellent condition, is usually worth close to its face value. Only very specific varieties, rare experimental strikes, unusual die errors, or coins with documented provenance rise above that level. Even then, their value climbs into thousands or sometimes tens of thousands, not instant billions. The myth of overnight wealth is more dangerous and exciting because it pushes people to overpay or to believe every unusual coin is a jackpot. The idea of a P mint mark Sacagawea from impossible year is especially important to understand. Mint marks only matter when they exist within the correct historical framework. A wrong date does not create rarity. It destroys authenticity. In coin collecting, authenticity is everything. A coin with an impossible date is not rare. It is incorrect. Serious collectors and grading services immediately reject such claims, no matter how dramatic the story around them sounds. What truly makes a Sacagawea dollar valuable is subtle and quiet, not loud and viral. The most desirable examples are those struck under special circumstances, with known minting experiments or clear, documented production mistakes. These coins are studied, verified, and traded among experts who know exactly what they're looking at. There is no mystery year from the 1600s hiding in a pocket or drawer, waiting to explode into unimaginable wealth. The emotional pull of these legends is understandable. Everyone wants to believe that something ordinary they already own could secretly be extraordinary. But the real power in coin collecting comes from knowledge, not hope alone. When you understand history, metal composition, minting timelines, and market demand, you protect yourself from disappointment and scams. That knowledge is worth more than any imaginary million-dollar claim. If someone tells you not to sell such a coin at a low price because it will make you a billionaire, ask yourself one simple question. Why would the entire global coin market miss something so obvious? Numismatics is a world watched by experts, auction houses, and historians every single day. True discoveries are rare, slow, and carefully proven, not sudden, loud, and unsupported. The real fortune-changing moment in coins is not finding a mythical piece, but learning how to separate truth from illusion. Many people lose money chasing stories. A few build wealth by understanding reality. Coins reward patience, study, and verification. They punish belief without evidence. That is a hidden lesson behind every exaggerated Sacagawea tale. So the most engaging truth is this. There is no Sacagawea dollar from 1621, no silver version from that era, and no overnight billionaire miracle hiding in such a claim. The real value lies in knowing what is real, what is possible, and what is simply a story. In that sense, knowledge truly does have the power to change your fortune, not overnight, but forever.